Yeah, like
Coming here and like
five style.
Cynthia over all the same color. I'm 5 well-rounded. Do you work on my finger? Make room, but so positive and easygoing are the do you? In 10 years, we don't care about any sense of somebody that you can know there's more space. Cynthia I am, but I'm a dreamer on my bike. You just wanna dance. My bike
Especially because
work on my finger. Make room, but so positive and easygoing are the color.
is it hard?
Young. So positive and easygoing are the gonna dance. Make more wet. So positive and easy-going are there. Or do you? So positive and easy-going are the gonna dance. Make more wet. So positive and easy-going are there. Or do you? Nice. Do you? Coming here, we're like
Five style.
Cynthia over all the same color. I'm 5 well-rounded. Do you work on my finger? Make room, but I'm a dreamer. Do you? In 10 years, we don't care about any place. Somebody that you can know there's more things. Cynthia I am, but I'm a dreamer on my bike. You just wanna dance.
Especially because
Work on my finger. Make room, but I'm a dreamer. Color.
is it hard?
Shit. Young. Nice. So positive and easygoing are the gonna dance. Make more wet. So positive and easygoing are there. Or do you? So positive and easygoing are the gonna dance. Make more wet. So positive and easygoing are there. Or do you?
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to a Saturday. Usually, it's a rare that I do a show on Saturday, but oh yes, well yeah, it's Pogo stuff. So if you want to find Pogo, all his stuff is on YouTube as well, so you can check him out. Link down below for Pogo stuff. But anyway, welcome to another Darachat. My name is Daramouthe, or Dara for short, because first grade has not left some people to say Daramouthe, not Daramouthe. So some people, what can I do, right? What can I do about it? But anyway, hello and welcome, and of course I have the I don't know, what you want, GG 2015, or you just want Global Gamer 2015? Which is it for you? Is it
It don't matter.
GG? It's like a good. What was it they use that for? When they play a game, they say good game, good game. But anyway, welcome, sir. Thank you for joining me. It's been a while, sort of been a toss back and forth of trying to get you on, but here you are. We finally figured it out because I am a sort of a genius, sort of. I try. But anyway, well, welcome for coming on. How are you?
Very good.
Good. Well, that's good. Yeah, because I know you recently had to go in for. Oh, see, there you go. There you go. Hello,
Yeah.
Miss BJ. But I know you recently had to go in for surgery and stuff, so I imagine it was not a fun time in doing that.
Yeah. Still not fun.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, because I remember I had to say, "Oh, you're welcome. No problem. Glad I could stop by yesterday." But yeah, the I remember when I had to have surgery, but it was a long time ago when I was a kid, and it was because I had flat feet, and so that's why I had surgeries because they I guess it was bad or something, so I had to get that done. But I was completely out. Like they put me out. Um, when I woke up, it was so loopy I didn't know where I was. But I was in a hospital, thank goodness. So there's for that. But yeah, that was such a long time ago. But it's never fun when you have to go in for surgery because usually it costs a lot, and you're on a long road of recovery depending on what the surgery's about. So, well, what was your surgery about anyway? If I'm allowed to ask.
My surgery was for rhinitis.
Mm,
Yeah, and I had a severe case about it, to
oh,
where I had to get turbinates and a septum,
mm,
my septum realigned.
wow. Oh man, that does not sound good at all. Especially since it's your septum. That's not a fun way to go, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, at least you're done with it. So now you're just on the recovery part, which is a long. How long do they say you have?
Uh, for full recovery, it can take up to 8 weeks or several months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, let's hope it's just several weeks then, because several months is not a
Yeah.
fun thing you want, especially since several months would take you pretty much to the end of the year at this point. Um, but yeah, no, that's no fun. I mean, I had to wear when I got mine done, I had to wear like these little weird casts thing. They weren't casts, right? Like the paper mache kind of casts, but they were the casts that like had like the felt and Velcro straps and whatnot. And so I felt like I was standing a little taller, so to speak, but I couldn't stand on them because of the surgery. So for like a good chunk of it, I was either like crawling or just not on my feet as much because they say they tell you can't be on your feet as much, so there's that. But I imagine you're kind of like you kind of need to use your nose to some degree, so I kind of imagine like, yeah, don't do too much. Or no, or do they just
I can breathe through the nose. I just can't. Uh, I have to prevent myself from sneezing through the nose.
mm,
Um, I can't blow my nose.
mm,
Anything that would hinder progress, basically.
that even makes it worse, like, you sneezing your nose, goodness sake. Ooh. Huh?
Sneezed twice today, and yeah, luckily
Oh,
I just by opening your mouth, it
yeah,
goes that way, not the other way,
yeah,
for the
yeah,
most part.
thank goodness for that. It's mm, yeah. I can't imagine. It sort of like reminds me of when I read a story where I can't remember what it was about, but it was like MLK was in the hospital, and I guess the story was is that if he sneezed, he would die, and so he had to not sneeze in order for that not to happen. I don't know I know he obviously got recovered, but hey, Sadie Pie. How are you? Well, he recovered, obviously, but I mean, he was told he couldn't sneeze or otherwise he'd die. I don't know if it was because like he had shock or something. Or I don't remember. But I remember there's a magazine a long time ago I used to read as a kid called Kids Discover. If you're ever lucky to read that kind of magazine, it was a long time ago. Read a whole bunch of stuff, weather, Indians, the whole 9 yards. Native Americans, sorry. You have to call them by their right name, I guess. But but yeah, it's not a fun time. So, but yeah, you're like I mentioned in the description, you're part of the tag team with vaping gamers who I've had on before.
Yeah.
And so I imagine that's been what side of the coin do you do for Rumbot?
Mostly just the coding stuff.
Doesn't vaping do coding as well?
He does more so the CSS and UI portion.
Okay, so he's more of the face of, and you're more of like the back end sort of thing,
Yeah.
if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's you. Oh man, when did you guys make Rumblebot or Rumbot?
When?
Yeah, when did you guys make it?
Um, I started working on it. Let's see. Where is my channel? I started working on it around July 7th, 2023. But he already did most of the coding back then for it to work.
Right. Yeah, because I just remember, and if people
Because
don't,
at that time, it was mainly just like a script.
mhm. Yeah, because I didn't know how long it was out because I don't use streaming element. Well, I mean I use it as something to stream with, obviously, but I don't use streaming elements, which is what Rombot is considered. Sort of like the other ones like Rumble Labs and Streambot, I think is the other one that's out there. But no, that's it's like what, less than 2 years at this point.
Yeah,
It'll be 2 years in a few months, but wow, that's not bad. And I think you guys have been, well, maybe not you, but I think Vapen has sort of been doing that whole thing with the music stuff as well, adding that to Rumbot to have part of. Um, but no, that's pretty awesome. And but you also stream yourself on Rumble as well, right?
I used to, not recently, just due to
Yeah,
health issues.
yeah, of course. Yeah, you would take care of yourself first before you do anything like
Yeah,
that. But no, that's pretty interesting that you do. And I mean, are you just a person that's doing it for a hobby, or do you actually do this stuff in real life?
just hobby.
Hobby, okay. And
Yeah.
how long you been doing the hobby?
uh, Probably since school.
That's a long time.
Uh, 2004 is when I started high school, so
Yeah, that's
that's when I got into all that.
that's 21 years ago. Goodness sake, that's a long time. Um, but no, yeah, because I remember trying to take Code Academy, which is out there for people trying different learn how to code in different formats, and I didn't make it past 2 weeks. So it shows you how well it was for me. But yeah, that was a long time ago, and I haven't done any coding. I mean, I've talked to people who do this stuff, like when I had Rumble Labs on, and I was talking to him. Sorry, by accident. When I had by accident, I was talking to him about his thing. It was funny to know that he's been a software manager for like 10, 50, was it like 15 to 20 years. I'm like, that's insane. Because again, Rumbot's not the only streaming element that is geared towards Rumble, as far as I know. Uh, but I do know that you guys have been working on it probably longer than the other ones that have come up. So, um, but why do that? Why do the Rumbot thing and all that stuff?
Just another couple other streamers trying to help other streamers.
Uh huh. Yeah, I can understand that, especially since you were before your surgery was a streamer yourself.
Yeah,
Um, and that's quite, that's quite understandable on that regard, because I don't really think they have other than the three I mentioned. I don't really think there's any others doing this. Well, okay, then maybe there's. What was it? I think Rum Goggles is another one. I'm not sure about that.
yeah, I'm not. I
Yeah.
think it was, but I think he stopped work on that Discord alternative.
Mm.
I
Oh, is
would,
that the Travis? Is that what we're talking about?
yes,
Travis.
Travis.
Oh yeah, I think he's still working on it. He's still making streams about it, as far as I remember. Um, but yeah, so but but yeah, that's pretty interesting and doing all that stuff because again, I myself don't use it. I don't have a need for any of them. They don't really help me with anything. But I know a lot of gamers use it, which seems to be the popular thing. Is gamers. Um, but are you do you play games yourself like vaping or are you not really?
Yeah, I do play games, just not often.
Yeah. So what was the last one you played though?
Last one that I played was probably 7 Days to Die.
Oh man, I it's been so long since I've ever touched that game. Cause I got it when I remember when it first came out, and it was still, it was still being built, so to speak. Cause they on Steam, for those who don't know, uh, sometimes games don't come out fully baked, and so they do this thing called early access on Steam, and that's what 7 Days to Die was. I think it started out as it's just an early access, like alpha release and all that stuff, and so it's kind of grown up over. I don't know how long it's been out actually.
I think it's actually fully released now.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't even know how old it is. One, two, there we go. 7 Days to Die. It's been let's see. OS Windows 2013, Linus, Xbox. Early access for OS X and Windows on December 13th, 2013. Wow. 12 a little close to 12 years. Holy crap.
Yeah,
Spent for one game. A 1.0 was released for Windows on really? The 1.0 version was released for Windows. Okay. Hold on. Versions for play. Sorry, I'll show what I found. Um, 7 Days to Die was a train wreck when ported it to console. Yeah, I mean it started out with PC first, so I imagine they didn't have the people at the time, and then they didn't update it. Though the competitor version got 20 million updates, I think they finally got the console version popping though. Well, that's good. That's good. They finally needed to do that if that was the case. But anyway, here's the what I have. Um, says earlier leaks 2013 and for Linux in 2014, Xbox One. A 1.0 was released for Windows, PlayStation 5 on July 25th. So it took 12 years. No, actually, it took 11 years for it to actually get to 1.0, which is kind of, I gotta be honest, it was kind of sad. Because either they had a very small team or they just, I don't know. It just seems very sad. It took 11 years to get to 1.0. And that's the kind of downside I think with Steam, right? The Steam um, early access stuff is that you have a lot of games that are half baked and sometimes they never get finished at
yeah,
all. Like there was one game I played, it was like Asteroid something or whatever, and you'd collect resources like making a base on this place, and you'd make resources by shooting up the asteroids falling down at every moment. Never updated it, never did anything, and it was sort of just like a dead game in essence. Um, but yeah, you do have a lot of games on there are some free to play ones, but there are also ones that are just like they shouldn't be there at all. But yeah, early access is on Steam is sort of it's iffy because there are some games that have been great that were early access, like Space Engineers. Space Engineers was one game I like to play. Don't really play it much anymore because I haven't really played much games in a while. There are a handful of free to play games that straight slap, but others meh. Yeah, I mean it's sort of like I think we have a lot of people who want to be oh, what is it? If you have a lot of people who want to be uh indie gamers, right? A lot of people who want to be indie gamers who use engines and stuff out there and whatnot that want to make a game. Um, it's a proving ground. It's basically a proving ground, like stuff like that. Like free to play, I think is sort of a proving ground, and like, can you make a good game? Now I know there are some people who charge, for like those games, but at the end of the day, though, um, uh, it's one of those things where it is sort of a proving ground. It's not just Steam too. Like there are other places, like I think like Humble or something like that. There's I think maybe GOG, but in the end they do
Yeah.
have their rules and stuff. Um, but I imagine you have plenty of games from all different places. um, but then again, I also have games from like Epic Store. I have games from GOG or GOG, which is sort of a side part of what's their name? Made The Witcher. What's the company? So the C. What was the name of the company? Witcher.
You've also got Ubisoft.
Yeah, that's right. But they put their games on Steam as well. No, Witcher game. Who made it? Trying to think. CD Projekt Red. That's right. CD Projekt
Oh
Red
yeah.
was the one who created it. Well, they didn't create the story, but they created the game based off upon the books. And that's a funny thing too, is that I've been listening. A while back, I was listening to uh, the audiobooks of them because I don't have the physical books. Um, plus, Audible free tokens and all that stuff. But yeah, I've listened to the audiobooks of the books, and it's a really interesting thing of what Andrew Sapkowski has kind of created from that, especially since it's like like 8 to 7 different books that are there's the first 2 or 3 are sort of short story stuff, and then it doesn't get into like the series saga sort of thing until oh man, I've got to look this up now because I can't remember. It's one of those things where it's just at the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember. Witcher. I gotta spell that. Witcher. Witcher. Yes. No. Oh, probably have to spell the Witcher. No, I don't want that. What the? Which? There we go. Uh, book. Book series. Haha. No, is that right? No, that's a comic book. Oh my goodness. Um, Hexer video game series. No, like give me there we go. All right. Hey DJ. Have a great night, DJ. Have a great one. Let's show this. This is The Witcher. It's a series of 9 fantasy novels and 15 short stories by Polish author Andrew Sapkowski. I know it's Polish. I'm not going to try to say it in Polish. But okay, so this is the order of it. I think like the last wish is the short story collection, and then from there to Lady of the Lake, that is uh from Sword of Destiny to Lady of the Lake, that is the series sort of saga, I guess, the Witcher saga, as they call it. But after that point, it's really just contained to those books. And then Season of Storms is sort of a prequel to the series. So if I remember correctly in hearing the audiobook, um it takes place for, oh man, I think before Sword of Destiny, but in between these points right here, Last Wish and stuff. Um, Crossroads of Ravens. Oh mine. Oh, he's made another one. Yes. So what was that about? Crossroads is the 7th novel, 9th overall book in the written series. It's a prequel to both Sapkowski's Witcher saga and his short story. Okay, so he's coming out with another one. Yes. I think a lot of people have kind of been disappointed what Project Red has done with the TV series. So, that's how it goes. Especially when you have someone like Henry Cavill right? He's coming up. He's trying to say, "Let me play The Witcher. Let me play The Witcher," and then, the first season is all right, and then you have like the second season, which is the first season's great, the second season's all right, and then it just kind of down from there, and they really screwed the pooch on that series. Blame Lauren Fishhatch or whatever her name was. Um, but yeah, did you ever have you ever seen or played one of those games before, the Witcher ones?
I've not played, but I've seen the games and movies.
Oh, wow, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, the um, I've only played the third one because it really looked good. But the other two are sort of I mean I played the second one, but it was done during a time when the technology was not up to par, sort of thing, you know? Because of course this is built the games are built upon CD Projekt Red, Red Engine, I think, whatever they call it. And they have their own thing, but the first game was like you had cards and all this other stuff. It was not well polished and all that. So, but I did hear, for those who are fans of the games, that they are not remaking, they're I think remaking the first game. Because if you were to go and like look at like any video on YouTube, they would be all old blocky and all that. It would look like 90s is basically what it would look like 90s graphics. Or yeah, even then it wouldn't look like PlayStation 1 graphics, but blocky sort of graphics, which is it's so long ago. Oh man, I remember the days they made games for the old Windows, right? Um you too, MSPJ, you too. Um but yeah, it's a very interesting time for gamers and stuff, especially with all the stuff out there of uh, what do you want to call it, woke or not? I don't care. Um, but yeah, I think it's a fascinating time for that, and also because of especially when in the context of Rumble, I know they've been building up their gaming side. So, what have your perspectives been on sort of the Rumble platform in a sense?
I've not been keeping uh, updated on Rumble recently.
Mm. Well, understandable, yeah, because of the surgery. But I mean,
Yeah,
even before then, you were still making Rumbot, with Vaping Gamers on Rumble. Hey Bob. But I mean, just on the platform alone, what have your thoughts been on it?
I
Not
stayed out of the politics part of it, but with everything that Rick's been doing, seems like everything is working better than what it has in the past.
Yeah, it was a different sort of time when they started out a long time ago. Um, but yeah, like I was saying, they are in essence trying to what is it? They're trying to build a gaming community, but honestly, I don't really think they should be putting all their energy into one section area of the platform, because that kind of defeats the purpose of having a platform to begin with. I understand it's like maybe trying to build a pillar or something, but I digress. I'm kind of trying to look at the whole, which is kind of hard to do if you're not like at the back end seeing things, so to speak. So, it is what it is. Um, but I mean, yeah, I know some people have said that for Rick as well has helped improved it a lot better, at least from its first pointed out. But yeah, it's just one of those things where there's a lot of still left to go from, and they're not there yet, is what I can say. They're not there yet, but that's just from my perspective. I don't know how everyone else sees it. Um, what's the with vaping? What do you feel his perspective has been on that matter?
I believe that we're mostly just waiting on access to the back end through OAuth, and
Oh,
we've actually been communicating with Rick via email and another one of his colleagues, but
mm,
it's taking some time to do.
mm. Then what is OAuth?
It's basically like signing in,
Mm,
but not having to enter your password and username 20 times.
mm, mm. Well, I've only had to sign in once, and I'm usually stay signed in. So, um, but
Like, for example, Twitter, logging into Twitter using your Discord
mm,
data. It'd
mm.
be like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I have my 2FA up for Twitter X, but sometimes it works well or whatever. Um, but but yeah, wasn't it? Isn't also I think part of it is the API as well, or is that what the OAuth is too?
Um, the API is a difficult thing to talk about because, yes, it is part of the OAuth, but from what most users' perspectives are,
Mm,
they're they're seeing their own API for the live stream, but that's not in a way a real API.
mm,
Yes, it does update like one, but it's not truly acting like a OAuth API should.
mm. And that's
And
for
I think that's what Rick and everyone is trying to work on doing on the back end.
mm, for Rumbot, right? Or
Or for everyone who wants to develop for
mm,
Rumble.
mm. Yeah, and that kind of makes sense because I mean I don't even know if YouTube has its own streaming elements, or if people have made streaming elements for you. Well, other than maybe Streamlabs and Stream Elements, because those are um, uh, I think broadcasting software as well. But beyond those scope, or stuff like the Streamyard, stuff like that. But I think beyond that, I don't think there's any, not that I know of, streaming elements for YouTube in the sense of what you guys do for Rumble, or at least I haven't seen any. I haven't looked that far into it. Um, well, I mean, it's a good thing that it's kind of working on, but it sounds like things have kind of just not gone any further so far, or at least I haven't heard anything.
Uh, Last thing I heard was from Rick 5 days before my surgery, so it's going. It's just very slow
Hmm.
process.
Yeah, which I think for many, I think for many who aren't, uh, doing the sort of tech thing, have a hard time understanding because they're already used to what's already out there, more or less for like the tech stuff, right? Like, you want to talk about gifted sub stuff, or all different sorts of things that other platforms have that people use, like chaining points or whatever. Um, but it's an understandability on the slow, but it feels like almost at times feels like it's self-inflicted for the slowness that it is for all the things they're trying to do, per se, or because someone on the outside doesn't get in those meetings or whatever. It kind of feels like holding one hand behind your back sort of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm. But they've, I think yesterday, no, it wasn't yesterday, I think it was a few days ago, they updated the login screen, where they're now asking to verify your email, um, which is good because they kind of needed to update that screen, to be honest. Um, but I mean, for being out as long, what what do you see as a missing or on the matter of stuff that just needs to be there? What has been your perspective on?
Uh, it's kind of hard because I don't normally think of features and stuff like that. I think of just coding mainly.
Mm. So
But
right, and that's understandable. But I also know that that uh, being part of the duo of Rumbot, you the thing of like I think it was like gifted subs was added to the API not too long ago or something like that,
yes,
and that being part of that ordeal, but that's also part of the coding thing too because it's being part of your streaming element. But with all the stuff that you see to some degree along with vaping, I would think there'd at least be some because I mean I've had vaping on for my Rumble Square and he's had ideas and all the other stuff. But I mean, talking to you, who's also done coding and whatnot, I would imagine there's at least some things you've seen that be like, well, can't we add this here or why isn't that there? That sort of stuff. Because I mean, it is kind of a continuing project, basically, because you're not getting paid for it, obviously.
um, there are other things that they could add, such as crowd control. It's basically a thing where users could play games using chat
Mm,
and just type specific commands or letters
mm,
to run the game.
mm.
Um, there's a bunch of stuff that they could actually integrate with, but it's just going to take time if they do that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
with Amico, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, that's why I was. That's why I was like, you probably don't think on either or. Um, but um, but yeah, for that regard, it's sort of like the crowd control sort of sounds like the channel points thing that I know I've seen mentioned a few times as well. Uh, just as like an extra thing, but I also think that's kind of more uh structure stuff that they don't have at this point. Like
Yeah,
that kind of stuff requires a lot more infrastructure than I think people realize. And I've only scratched the surface at kind of looking at it because it requires a lot of uh, different parts and coding and whatnot. And yeah, you could say, well, Twitch does it too, but at the end of the day, um, you're building on your own servers and whatnot, and you're building the coding and whatnot. So it's not just going to be a one to one. It never usually is. Um, and that's I think
right.
Yeah, and I think that's where when I had Rumble by accident on, and he had given like there's already stuff out there that's already done, just take some of that and kind of add your own twist to it, which is understandable because I mean it helps kind of get things there. But I also think that because of the way they're doing it, they're building the infrastructure from the ground up. That kind of I don't know. It kind of clashes a bit with what they're trying to do. It feels like. Um, but again, I don't know coding, so that's not the greatest question to ask me. Um, but yeah, I've seen that sort of thing, the crowd control thing. I know that like some people have like little like pixel things at the bottom of the screen. I don't know what that's called because I don't use it. But I know channel points was a one I've heard many a times, but it's not a big one on the list as far as I've seen.
Right
Um,
now, there isn't really a way to track users
yeah,
that are currently watching, so the only way you'd be able to do that would be to give them points just by per message type thing.
yeah, that sort of like what I've seen Streambot do,
Yeah,
in essence, which is more direct to the user, whoever's using it, basically.
yeah.
Um, but that kind of sets off that thing of so they really so what is that called then to track people? Because you just said that they don't have a way of tracking people. What does that mean exactly?
They don't have a way to. They don't have a way for developers to track live chat users.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, everyone who's in Rumbot chat,
Mm-hmm.
you can't actually see who's in there other than by the previous people who've just messaged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like the people in chat right now is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see. So it almost not understanding the technical side too much, but it almost sounds like it's a handicap to them, basically. Because if you can't track in the live chat, which I'd imagine the other platforms can do because they've had the time and resources, that sounds like it's a bit of a handicap to them. Hey, Folsom, how are you doing, good sir? It's been a long time. Nice to see you. But no, that sounds like to for that regard, that sounds like it's a bit of a handicap to
Um,
Rumble itself.
they could more than likely do it. They've got everything that they need going on right now for it. So
Then if from that perspective, if that's the case, why what do you think could be the reason they haven't done it? Is it just resource thing or time thing or just something else?
I think it's mainly the time because yeah, I think it's just time. That's the issue.
Because it would take too long to do in that sense. Would it take too long to do that kind of uh
No, it wouldn't take that long to do. It's just that they would have to implement it onto the back end
mm,
of
which would
chat.
which would be require testing and all this stuff, which in itself does take time.
Yeah.
So that I can understand, but but again, it does feel like because I know chat replay is one of those things that people have asked for because YouTube, right? YouTube does that, and I think Twitch does that, and Kick does that as well. But I think in that being said, it does kind of feel like they hindered themselves. Whether like you said, if it's a time thing, yeah, but that also feels like they're kind of putting off other stuff to the side in order to take care of other things, which may not be um, as important, or we may not understand why they're important to them, sort of thing. It's a very, very weird thing to be on the other side of the fence trying to guess what your neighbor's doing, sort of thing.
So still talking about the active users part.
Mhm,
I'm actually pulling up the API for this stream right now, and I
mhm,
can see 7 active users right now,
mhm,
and that's just by everyone who's messaged mainly.
in the chat.
Yeah,
Mhm. But that's just looking at on right now.
yeah, that's just looking right now.
Mm-hmm. Understandable, but it also again, like you said, oh, chat is a joke. Well, I mean, it's chat history is not free speech though. That's just not there. At least you're able to say stuff in the chat. But that's you're on YouTube, so I don't know much about free speech over there. So there's that. A dash. Um, but yeah, no, that's interesting on that regard. Um, and then like you said, crowd control as well. But I kind of feel like for that portion, like crowd control of channel points, I kind of feel like if people don't enjoy your content and you need to give them something to do to stay engaged with your stream, then maybe there's something that has to change for content creator, because that just feels like to me it feels like you're giving a child a Game Boy in order to pay attention to the movie, basically. At least from how I understand what like channel points and all that stuff is. It's just yeah, it gives you something extra. But if you need to have a little game to play while someone else's stream is going, then it's what's the point of watching the stream then? Just have them go play the game elsewhere.
Yeah.
So I get the idea, but for me, it just kind of seems silly, because why is a content creator streaming? Change your content. Well, you don't have to do that with creative spelling. Yeah, that's still not free speech though. If you have to get creative with your spelling, that's still not free speech. If you don't like your content, change your content. Well, that's up to the individual making the content. Because how would you know if they're whatever? Yeah, we'll stick around though. Yeah, but why are you that defeats the purpose of creating content. Then you would just, because I think YouTube now, you can just play online games through their system. I don't know if that's the same thing, but you can play online games through YouTube. What's the point of content? Yeah, what's the point of content for stuff like crowd control? It just defeats the purpose of it. The channel points, I kind of get that idea, but then again, right there, that's sort of like trying to keep people entertained for what you're doing, if that makes sense. I'm pretty sure I'm describing it right. Yeah. So that's what just gets me, is all that stuff, because I do this thing. Yeah, I know it doesn't get a lot of views or whatever, but using all the extra tidbits for all that stuff doesn't make sense to me, because I'm doing something that's a little more more than that's not gaming, unfortunately. But I do play games when I'm not online, so there's that. But that's mostly just because I usually don't have enough time in the day. Um, but no, I just personally, for me, I don't get it. But I understand the points you're making. Yeah, I mean, let me go back to the example of the kid giving a Game Boy, right? I'm pretty sure some of you have played with a Game Boy, whether it be the old blocky one or like the Game Boy Color ones, right? Like back in the day, just to kind of sidetrack, back in the day, I had a translucent purple one, which was pretty cool. Don't get me wrong. And I
I
had like,
remember having one of them too.
yeah, I had the Pokemon Yellow game, uh, and all that stuff. And I think that was my first game, was actually Pokemon Yellow, because that was the one with Pikachu and whatnot. And then of course, I haven't played Pokemon forever. The two Pokemon games I do like though are Pokemon Coliseum, and then Pokemon Gale of Darkness. Those are the two Pokemon games that dealt with like the shadow Pokemon and all that stuff, because they were 3D Pokemon games, and you could travel to different places. Although they were kind of stiff, on things. Um, but I digress. That was some long ago. But anyway, again, it's sort of like going on a road trip, right? You've gone on a road trip, and your kids banging their thing, making noise, banging their thing around or whatever, and you're on a very long road trip, and you just want a piece of quiet time, right? So usually, if you had a Game Boy or something to entertain them, you would give them that item to entertain them while while the trip is going on. That's what that feels like. Is that it feels like that you're giving them an extra bit to distract them, to keep them on your stuff, because it's a road trip. So that's, yeah, road trip, please. Yeah. Hold on there. Road trip's a little expensive now. Channel points is a tool like any other to incentivize users to stay on a channel or a platform longer. I get that. Okay, thank you. These are not drugs or your call. Thanks again. No, thank you. I appreciate it. I'll look into it. After the stream. Thank you for that. I agree, but I also multitask when listening to podcasts all the time. But you're listening. You're not really playing games, though, are you? You're not like, I mean, I can be on a road trip and listen to the radio, but I'm still concentrated on the road. All that stuff. I can see the road. I can see the signs and all that stuff. I'm not like distracting myself. I mean, I'm making thumbnails and getting my show ready. Oh, okay. All right. So no games. Understandable. But I get this one, but that's again, that's sort of uh yeah, that's sort of just an opposition of how I see things. My perspective is different. Again, I don't. I did stream gaming a long time ago. Like I did like a Minecraft mod pack a long time ago. But to me, it just feels like it's what is your content? What is your content without the channel points? What is your content without the crowd control games? What is it? And just people watching someone play a game? Is it a long political show? That'd be weird though. if if someone used playing games so will listen to political content. Shh, I'm almost done. I've got 5 more apples to get. What are you listening to? I forgot what it was. um, but yeah, I don't know. Those are just my thoughts on that. I know that's been mentioned again. The channel points things is mentioned before a amount of times, but the surveys things that I've done, they don't really show that being a big thing needed right now. So basically, from my last month's survey, the biggest thing people were wanting more were the content filtering options. And because they don't really have that, you can't go to your back end in your studio or whatever you want to call it and sort through your streams or videos or whatnot by date or popularity or whatever. It's just not there. So channel points was not a big ordeal from the last survey. What was that? Okay. Thank you. There you go. All right. I do not have people. Play games through my streams. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Well, I'm not saying everyone. I'm just saying in the essence of what the crowd control and channel points are, at least from my perspective. They're just a distraction to keep you there in order to get the views or engagement or whatever. This is engagement. Me talking to you, bringing up your things, that's engagement. But I don't have any channel points or games for you to play while you're there. So if you're here for that, I apologize, but it's just not there. Or the now the sound ones I will kind of agree to because they can be funny ones. You playing games with my heart that I don't. No. Don't. That's I'm gonna break that heart. Minus channel 1 point. You're about to get minus 10 here soon enough. I'll just put minus. Oh, I can't do that. I'll just do like minus 10, 10 points, for, oops, minus 10 points for. There you go. How you like them apples? You know what? I'll be like, whose line is it anyway? I'll just dole up my own points because I can. That'll be the funniest thing ever. Forget channel points. I'm going to dole up my own points. Suck it. He's gonna need some extra credit. Look, the way you earn the way you earn points is up to me. So I'm just gonna have my own point system and just write it on a piece of paper. But the thing of it is that the writing is so small that people are like, I can't. How do I earn 5 points back? How do I earn 5 points? And I say, it's not gonna happen. I'm sorry to tell you. But no, that's pretty funny. I like that one. Minus 1 channel point added. Goodness sake. That's like giving people money by typing it. I give Dara $10. Thank you. I have that man. He gets +5 right there. He gets +5. You get +5 points just for that. This is gonna be fun. You've given me, chat. You've given me a great idea, and I'm gonna do my own point system. You won't know how you earn it, but if I like it, you'll get something out of it. So there's that. But yeah, those are that's we need to let somebody keep track. Yeah, that's the same sort of thing that happened with like Whose Line Is It Anyway? Like you'd get like 1,000 points, and that people would keep track of it all over. I'm like, okay, Nomad is up 5. He's keeping track. He's keeping track. I'll give a 100. No, that's sorry, -1. That's -1 to dashboard right there. -1. No, you can't do that. You can't go up that high. Nomad is up now. Nomad is now up to 4. Do say it was so far. Yeah, it is. It's partly what my show is anyway. $1,000. You can't. No, it's not how that works. Do you want all your points to be gone? I'll give you a -1,000. You keep it up. -100,000. Okay. Someone's reaching deep into their imaginary pockets for money they don't ever think they'll have. Yeah. Keep it up. You'll lose all your points. 1,000,000. Okay, now stop. Now you just stop joshing. All right, now you just gotta stop joshing. But yeah, no, I mean, I know there was a UK version, but now you're done. Nope. Dashboard has lost all points and now sits at -10. There you go. -1,000,000. You keep it up. I'm just gonna keep giving you negative points. Just keep giving you points. The struggle of life is there.
You started it.
I'm gonna finish it if I have to. You'll get negative infinity points. How's that sound? But yeah, no, I enjoyed Whose Line. I watched the Drew Carey era, which was like 9-ish years, I think it was. But I mean, yeah, their whole shizzle stick was, welcome to Whose Line Is It Anyway, where where the points don't matter, and the chicken's not fried, or something like that. He'd do all sorts of points a gay. Hey, you know what? That's a -10 for you right there. No, I'm just joking. Drew Carey hosting was the best. Actually, just watched a quick cut of. Yeah, that was probably one of the best ones. Is when Drew Carey came on. No, I'm sorry. When Robin Williams came on, that was such a fire episode because that was so when Drew Carey. Sorry, when Robin Williams. Apologies. When Robin Williams came on, he was during his 1 hour photo because he had that blonde hair. So if people don't know, he blonded his hair for 1 hour photo. So that was during that time period. But when he came on, it was a totally different energy. And it was only for one, though. It was only for one, but it was probably one of the best episode they did because they got to have on someone who's well known for improvisation. And again, these guys, like Drew, Wayne Brady, Ryan Stiles, Colin Mockery, even Drew Carey, they all do improvisation to their form of degree. But you bring on Robin Williams, that just uptakes the energy in the show, and you got to see through the whole episode. You didn't want it to end. You didn't want it to end, but unfortunately, you did. Yeah, he was shooting that. So, but yeah, it sucks that that's the only episode with Robin Williams because it's a show that fits him well for what type of person he was, and we only got one episode out of it, but it was one of the best. Great show, even though it was only the one. Yes, great show, even though it was only one. That's what makes you appreciate something like that more, that you only get the one like that. Because I know they've had other guest celebrities on too, but that was one of the big ones, and that just upped the energy taken. Pico too. I don't know what that is, but that just upped the energy in the show, at least for that episode, and so much stuff. But yeah, I enjoy going back on like YouTube once in a while, and watching an episode, here and there. But my favorite game out of Whose Line is Scenes from a Hat, and that's one of the games that's pretty much basic, like pure form improvisation, because you get a prompt but you have to give your best to that prompt, or you have to give what's in line with that prompt. And sometimes they kind of failed at that. But that's where the magic of the humor comes out of, is that the improvisation can lead to something, like meh, or like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they said that. And then they get bleeped, obviously, at times, because it was ABC or CW or whatever. Mostly it was mostly ABC at the time, that during the Drew Carey era. But it was probably one of the best group of people, one of the best shows, at least for me, when I remember, um, because it really, in their own words, it really was a cheap show to make. Um, but it was something that was a spark of the moment sort of thing, right? Like each episode, you wouldn't know what they would come up with, but that's why people kept coming back, because why, um, why wouldn't you want to see where it goes? And that's sort of the basis of my show, is like, why wouldn't you want to see where it goes? That sort of thing, because it can go anywhere, and you never know where it will start or where it will end. And that's the big chunk right there. But anyway, it is the top of the hour. And of course, what I do is I set aside some time to self, promote and all that stuff. But I know you've been off the, healing up and all that stuff. But did you have anything that you wanted to promote, or with Rumbot or whatever? Because the floor is yours if you want to.
Rumbot.org. That's where you can find everything at.
Hmm. Yeah, I'll put that in the chat. So rumbot.org. And so if people want to check Rumbot out, if they use it, I don't know if, whatever your needs are. But if you want to see what it's about, Rumbot, there's the website, or at least not exactly, because it's not a link, but it is you could just copy paste it basically. But yeah, no, that's again his I believe oh, that's right. I forget. I'm using so uh Brave came out with something not too long ago, where I think it was like last week, where you can split your tab, so you can have two so you can have one screen but have two different tabs on the same screen.
Yeah,
And
I see that. I'm using Brave right now.
yeah, yeah, I like that. That's probably because I was like, that's probably one of the coolest things they've done, is split view. And I have my Rumble Studio on one side and my Rumble stream on the other. Of course, my YouTube is on another. But I'd asked them too. And I have your X and your Etsy store down there as well. So if you want to see what his, because I know in your Etsy store it says they're taking a break, but I do know you sell something there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, his X and Etsy store links are down there. But yeah, the Brave split view has been so amazing, because you can do that for many other tabs. Like I'd asked Brave, it's like, can you only do one that's like that, or can you do multiple? So you can do multiple like that, and I was like, yes, thank you. Because it really is an awesome feature to have from a browser. I don't know if there's any other browser that does that. I'm not sure of, to be honest.
No, I actually don't think there is.
See, and that's one of the things. I'll get to that. I'll get to that after that. But anyway, for my end of things, uh, just to kind of get my promotional stuff out of the way, obviously. But whether you're on the Rumble side, whether you're on the YouTube side, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment or follow, anything that helps with the engagement factor is much appreciated, because not only does it help in being seen more, like all content creators want to be seen more, but it also helps in having other people on, like GG or Vapin or By Accident, or I think it's Kanji for Streambot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had Kanji on too. So all those people I've had on. Um, but yeah, any help with the engagement factor on either end is much appreciated. And thank you for that. Of course, I have a link down below as well, just like with all the other links for uh, GG. So, if you can check it out, there's Twitter X in there, there's email in there. I have my Discord link in there as well, but I just mostly use it for DMing. So if you want to see where else I'm at, there you go. Again, any help with the engager factor and link down below. I appreciate y'all for being here. What was going on for that? Trying to get out. I need to upgrade Brave Round. Yeah, I mean, actually I can show it right now. Let's see. It's gonna look weird, but here's how it looks. So again, here's the Rumble Studio side, and here's the Rumble Stream side, and it just, I enjoy it, right? Because it's two tabs in one thing, and this is just incredible. So I enjoy doing it. I want Ginbot though. What? Ginbot? That sounds like something you drink with. Ginbot. But yeah, no, it's sort of like if there's no other bad joke. Well, yeah, if I don't,
I understood it.
yeah. See, one of us got it. I didn't get it, but one of us got it. Rum to gin. I gotcha. Alcohol. Well, I know what rum and gin are. Neat. Thanks. Hey, not a problem. Glad to help. Alcohol. I know what rum and gin are. You don't have to explain that part. I just didn't understand what you meant by that. Goodness sake. But no, what I was saying is like if that's the only browser doing it, then it's sort of like how Rumble is with being the only one with their own broadcasting software, because I don't think there's any other platform out there that has their own broadcasting software, which is what Rumble Studio is. Because you can multi stream from a singular point. But yeah, it's a weird thing if that is the case for Brave, because that's just awesome. It's just an awesome tool to use, and I've used it ever since it came out. So there you go. And I'll keep using it too. Just so cool. And of course, like if people don't understand, you can actually drag the screen back and forth from the middle point, and you can change the sizing level of each side just by dragging it over. So there's that too. And that's why you saw it the way it is, because it usually starts down the middle. But yeah, no, I've used Brave for quite some time. I've seen three dude streams. Actually, Janet saw on Smoke'em streams. Yeah. I've seen a few people use Rumbot. Especially, I can't remember their names, but I've seen a few people use Rumbot. Usually because you can use Rumbot to like throw out reminders or all that stuff. Do you will you guys ever want to try to do something like Streambot is doing with the points, or are you just gonna leave that alone?
We're actually going to be looking into that in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But for the cloud-based version.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you guys are doing a cloud based version of Rumba, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you guys are putting a lot of work into something that's free, and you're not getting anything monetary wise, unless it's like, vaping streams or whatever, for it. Because I mean, that's a. I mean, yeah. Oh, there you go. Oh, thank you for that. There you go. That's Cloud Rumba Dog, and I think it's in beta, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started working on it not too long ago.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, it's a lot of not only personal time but finances into this sort of thing. But I mean,
Yeah.
it just goes to show that there's something about Rumble for you guys that you want to put in that effort. Because I mean, otherwise, why would you do it, right? Like if you're someone who codes and all that stuff, you would be putting that elsewhere to where you would be getting paid for it, basically. Well, and Vaping too, although I don't know what he does for work, more or less, or at least I forgot, one of the two. But yeah, no. So hopefully that should be interesting. But hopefully it goes well, and it's quite successful enough. Now, will you down the road be asking for donations, or will that just never come above?
We'll probably be doing subscription-based stuff like we are with the app, but we're not going to be asking for donations just unless people do it out of the blue.
Yeah, because again, it's like it's a once you go into the cloud stuff, that turns into a financial addition, which I mean, I don't think like cloud is too expensive, but I mean, if you're gonna have a lot of people connect to the cloud portion of Rumbot, that starts adding up in a way. Um, will you? So, like with Travis, right? Will you be using Rumble stuff, like Rumble clouds, or no?
I tried getting into contact with Rumble
Mhm,
about their services, but
mhm,
none of them got back to me in time.
mhm.
So I use a different host.
Okay. I think Daryl. Yeah, that's understandable. I know that's been one of the things they've been pushing, as well as their Rumble Cloud, which they've had some somewhat big prominent names sign up to. Um, but I also know that there's many other cloud services. Like I know Microsoft has theirs, Azure. I know Amazon has theirs, AWS. I know what's another one. I know Google has their own. Google, YouTube, they're basically the same one. Um, what else? What other ones out there? Usually, well, third party ones, just third party ones. Oh, thank you, Neuro. Thank you for that. Um, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting time once that starts opening up to everyone else instead of just being in beta. Um, how long do you imagine it will be in beta though?
Um, I want to say hopefully just for a couple months, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Just
in this.
gotta work out all the bugs and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, and of course you'll probably be working on bugs even after you open because it's not.
Yeah.
There's going to be stuff happening, and you got to be there.
Well, right now I can tell you that there's 7 people using the app.
Well, that's good. Um, yeah, normal customer service needs to improve vastly. Well, yes, it does, but unfortunately, the last. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Um, yes, it does, but unfortunately, the last month's survey showed that people were satisfied at least with Rumble support to a degree, not fully, but to a degree. Um, oh, thank you, Neuro. I appreciate that. The more the merrier. We've got 11 more days to go. I'll certainly be pushing every day I can. Not every day, but more than most. Like ABL. Who's ABL? I don't know who ABL is. Um, but no, thank you for that, Neuro. Because I'm doing my again April surveys are out there right now for both creator or viewer, or if you consider yourself both. Um, but at the end of the day, if people want to feel in a way, if people want to help in improving the platform and whatnot, and I can't say I can't make changes because I don't work for Rumble. This is basically on my own time. But if people want to give in helping to making the platform better, these surveys are going to help point out those areas that need focus. Because a lot of I don't know what people thought of the last surveys, if there was things they agreed with, things they didn't, but the surveys are there to help point out, give people back a visual pinpoints or visual data basically, because Rumble doesn't give that. You can give all the feedback you want through at support Rumble, support at rumble.com, but people are not getting any visual feedback of like, oh, here's 50% of the people who've given into uh for like, oh, streaming quality or Rumble Studio or this sort of thing. They really don't give that back. And so that's why I'm doing the surveys, because people need to see something. People need to see, what are a big chunk of people saying, because right now you could go to any group of people and say, okay, so this is the majority thing they need to work on. I'm using these surveys that kind of cut through that fog, because not only is it, in a degree, help a bit with the frustration and feeling like you're at least being heard, it also helps in thinking, well, maybe this person thinks is the same as I am, or maybe there's a big chunk that thinks in that same way, or whatever. Anthony Brian Logan. Yeah, I've never heard the guy. Never heard of him. Um, so yeah, but that's why I'm doing these surveys, is because people need to see visual data, and I had over 200 responses last time in total, so I'm hoping to aim for higher for that, because at the end of the day, if people if people want to see some sort of change, then those surveys will help at least, because that's all I can think of doing, is just at least taking that data and using it to kind of say, look, here's the pinpoints. I think you guys might need to concentrate on this stuff, because I do know from the last one, the streaming quality, not only from the app but the platform itself, in the nicest words possible, sucks. And there are issues and all that other stuff, but streaming quality is a big one. Basically, it came down to streaming quality and tech reliability are there two big main components that came from those surveys. So we'll see if they listen or not. But at the end of the day, ABL to go. There you go. ABL to go. But that's why I do it, because I'd rather turn the frustration one can feel into a positive force, rather than just, turning it into harassing or whatever, which has happened to some of the people. But anyway, and Neuro, don't forget, if you can, drop those as well in the chat too. I much appreciate that. But yeah, beyond that, I can't. I look forward to what Rumbot at least will do future wise, because again, they're not just Rumbot out there. There's also, Rumble Labs, and then of course Streambot and all that stuff. There's a few other streaming elements out there that are vying to help, and taking up spots that really Rumble's not, or people feel that Rumble's not putting effort to, or they can't see, or whatever. Not saying they aren't. It's just they don't see it right now. And so that's why some, like with Streambot, the channel point stuff, the Discord like thing, like if you chat in the chat more times, you get this like level up. I don't know what that's exactly called, but it's sort of like a Discord thing, like sort of thing. But yeah, I do think James Lee, that's right, James Lee Peterson, I think, or Patterson. Yeah, he does that whole beta, that sort of thing. There's a whole meme out there for that. But yeah, that's what the survey. That's what kind of feels like they're missing on, and we just kind of get stuck on the outside of wondering what's gonna go on. There we go, because it's getting a little dark outside. It's finally warm enough where I'm at to open the windows. Although I'll have to close the windows at night, because it still gets down to like 30s and 40s, and you can't really sleep with that. So it is what it is. Yeah, isn't spring grand depending on where you're at in the country? It's like some people who live in like upper areas, it's still pretty cold out. So I think I actually was talking to someone from I was talking to 70s rock fan who lives up in Canada, and he's like, they just had snow like not too long ago. So it's like, it's not really warmed up yet. Yeah,
I haven't
Peterson.
had snow here in at least 2 to 3 years.
Wow. Where state are you from, if I may ask?
I'm from New York, but I'm currently in Georgia.
Georgia. Oh, wow. Oh, you're really close to the Sunshine State in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny too, because Lumpy's from New York, and I believe he moved down to Florida as well. Well, he moved down to Florida, so he moved to someplace warm. But yeah, I believe he's from New York too, because I remember I had him on once, and a long while back, he had posted a picture on like Twitter X of him being a cop once. Like, wait, you were a cop once? uh, that
Dashboard. I'm only a few minutes away from Fort Benning. Yeah, I
mm,
know. I know Pudge is in Georgia too.
oh, I didn't know he was in Georgia. Well, how about that?
Uh, I believe he talked about moving in Georgia a few months ago or
Mm.
so.
Well, I know it's not. I know there are probably some parts to it that are bad, like Atlanta. At least that's one I've heard where it's kind of
Yeah,
bad, but Georgia's not.
it's horrible there.
Yeah, it's not all bad. It's just some parts of it are might want to avoid, as the kids would say. Um, but yeah, no, that's pretty awesome. Cause oh nice. I used to live near ATL near Beaufort. Oh, okay. I don't know what ATL stands for, but
Atlanta.
oh, Atlanta. Okay, that's what you. That's how it's spelled. All right. Buford. That's pretty awesome. Um, but yeah, I've only been through Georgia once, and that was when me and my family were going down to Florida for Walt Disney World. So I've not been back since. Probably, probably in some ways a good thing. Probably some ways not. But it is what it is. Um, but uh, but since we've been talking about the tech stuff, um, uh, see you later. Have a good one. That's plenty. Yeah, that's plenty enough. But since we were talking about the tag stuff and all that, a while back I was kind of going through YouTube, and I'd come across a video of Steve Jobs, and this was I think when he got back to Apple, sort of when he coming back into Apple, and so it was some sort of conference, whatever. It was recorded, but he comes in, and there's at one point where a gentleman's like ask him these sort of snide kind of questions. Uh, I don't know if he's a techie person or not, but he's there at that thing, and uh, Job kind of takes a moment, trying to answer the question. It's not wholly that bad either, but there was one point which um, I found fascinating. There's one point where he said, was talking about the whole the question of what the dude was asking, but there was one point where he was like, um, start start with the customer experience and work backwards to the technology. And see you later, Bob. Have a good one. Have a great rest of your weekend. But when Steven said that and responding to back to the gentleman who had sort of asked like the snide questions, it sort of reminded me how in Rumble's perspective, that's not really the case, because there have been a lot of issues with the customer experience, and they've been more upgrading the technology first. And while a lot of people will have their ideals on Steve Jobs and all that stuff, and you can say what you will, but the one thing you can't say is that he wasn't successful, because I mean, he found people who had talent, he brought them together, all this stuff, and he made Apple what it is to till his death, which again he could have easily prevented, but it is what it is. But when he said that line, it felt like something that was missing from what Rumble's trying to do, because if you aren't starting with the customer experience and you're adding different technologies to try to better your platform, then you're missing a key component that makes or break a platform. And we can see this with other platforms like Twitch or YouTube or whatever, and all this stuff. Rumble should be asking themselves constantly, who are our customers? Well, yeah, exactly. That's where that whole ordeal of like the politics thing, and then of course now with gaming, which I have nothing against gaming. It's just I'm not interested in them building monoliths, which is what the politics part of Rumble is. That's been a monolith for quite some time, and now they're trying to put focus, a huge focus on Rumble itself with gaming, and that's, well, understandable, and a kind of great direction to go in. It's probably not the best way they need to be going about right now, because again, it's just building another monolith. They need to build they need to raise the whole of the platform, not just certain sections. This is in addition to setting goals and plans to achieve the goals. Yeah, I know that, right, with the whole who are our customer. But again, when Steve Jobs had said that about start with the customer experience and working backwards to technology, again, it felt like Rumble's kind of missing in that, or it's not shown that they are. I mean, they're taking feedback, sure, but they kind of missing spots too. So it's kind of a give and take sort of scenario where you're like scratching your head, like, really? But that's just been my point of view. But when Steve Jobs said that, I was like, that feels like something that Rumble's missing on, is starting with the customer experience, and then moving on to technology, because they do have issues. They have issues with people not getting paid in a timely manner. You know, even if the survey from last month showed that people are okay, totally satisfactorily of support, um, it still kind of shows that there are some holes that are there that are still like people falling through, which just happens, but it is what it is. I wish they'd work something out for more live sports. Slap Fight is dumb. UFC and BKFC always tell me I'm out of the region, and that's about all they got. Understandable. Again, this is where working on the whole in different parts would be better than just working on one part for the whole. And that's what I don't get. I'm not a business person, so I could be wrong, but it feels like they need to be working on the customer experience part, not the technology part, because it feels like a what's it feel? I wish they had to deal with. I thought they did. I thought they did. Um, but it feels like they just don't have. They're it feels like from the outside experience they're just in the wrong direction, and they're not focusing on what feels like the better one. But who am I to say otherwise? That's why I'd rather use the data from the surveys to kind of point in those directions rather than just assuming from guess, which is also another problem too. We're all in some form are assuming from a guess because we aren't in the meetings or whatever. So collect the voices of people who have issues and wish list stuff, and kind of see where everyone's at on the outside, and then go from there. But that's just me. They do, but you have to be in the right region to be able to watch prelims or buy the PPV. Ah, okay. I did not know that. But that sucks too. But then again, I imagine they have certain things with that, with like maybe like WWF. Not sure. Not sure if they have. YouTube has like a WWF thing. But yeah, and it was just, and I've kept that kind of like, written right in front of me. It's like, okay, so customer experience, backwards technology. What would be a way of doing that? And that's sort of just doing something like I'm doing, just trying to throw out that line of stuff to here, and then kind of getting back, okay, and adjust accordingly, but not an everyday thing, more like a monthly thing. Because I feel like every day would just stress you out enough that you wouldn't get much work done. Once a month is helps, as far as I've learned, because I can't do a survey every day. I'm gonna be dead. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. But anyway, but yeah, I just saw that. I just saw that video piece, and I just thought, wow, that's been a long time. First of all, that was like late 90s when I had seen that video, or when the video was taken. And then, you have Apple as they are now, and then, back then with Steve Jobs, quite a different atmosphere. But anyway, because it's weekend, I'm not gonna do a wrap up, but I am gonna start winding it down because it is getting to dinner time and I haven't eaten yet. But regardless, I am grateful for all of you here, whether you're on the Rumble side or the YouTube side. I appreciate you all. And of course, what? Nope, the three I mentioned are all I've ever found. I've been saying for 2 years they should be getting into rugby because the World Cup will be in the U.S. for the first time. And oh wow, oh yeah. Unfortunately, they can't do the Olympics because NBC has a license for that, so this kind of sucks. But anyway, um, whether you're on the Rumble side or whether on the YouTube side, I appreciate you all same from here. And of course, give our links a look down below. If you're interested in the Rumbot, the link is in the chat. Well, not the link, but the website Rumbot. Let's see if I can't bring it up. Where is it at? I gotta find it first. Where did I put it? Oh, here we go. No, that's Rumble. That's Cloud. Where? There we go. Yep, got it. So there you go. So if you want to see, sounds like an airplane. But if you want to know, if you want to learn more about Rumbot and what he and Vapin are working on, there you go. If you want to see the, where was it at? I just had it up on too. If you want to see about their cloud work, that's here too. So go and check that out. Oh, he already has it. He already has it linked down below. Look at that. Look at that. He's ahead of the game right there. All right. See you later, Blanco. Yeah, thank you, sir. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. All right. But hold on one second. But like I said, make sure you give the links down below. My link is down there, and of course his are too. And just if you want to follow, that's great. But also, like I said before, here are the links to the surveys I'm doing. There's the creator survey. If you haven't taken it yet, there's that. And then, of course, this is to the viewer survey that I'll be posting as well. Here you go. They may be one for creator perspective, one for viewer perspective, but if you see yourself as both, take both. I'm not going to hold any judgment for you. But every bit counts. I can't stress this enough. I know some people are like, oh, stop talking about it, but you need to understand the more people that take it, the clearer the picture will be, right? Like it's very foggy outside. Once the sun comes up, the fog starts dissipating away. That's what these surveys are. The more people that take it, that use Rumble, whether on the creative side or a viewer side, it all helps. It all helps. So that's why I'm going to be harping on it for quite some time. I know it'll be very tiring, whatever, but hey, Mild. Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate that. But every bit counts. I cannot stress this enough. Every bit counts. I had over 200 total responses last time from both surveys. I'm looking to hopefully get beyond that, but it will require, it doesn't require, the survey itself is optional, but your help is needed. Your help is necessary for people to see. Hey, thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. But again, it helps clear the picture. It helps see the side of what people are talking about and all this stuff. Maybe people will be talking about the same thing you are, or have ideas on what you have, or maybe people won't, and you'll get to see that final point at the very end on the 23rd. There you go, Nero. But again, if you're a creator on Rumble, if you're a viewer on Rumble, if you consider yourself both, take both. That's fine. But every bit counts. Because if not, hello, still not banned here. You must be a fave on many channels then, or many channels then. Hey, Folsom. Oh, thank you, sir. I get that filled out for sure. Thank you. No, thank you, Folsom. I appreciate it. You didn't have to give the 5, but I thank you anyway. But so I have to write that down. Hold on. So when someone gives a Rumble rant, I usually Folsom. It's been a while, Folsom. I hope you're doing well. Because it's been a while since you've been here. But anyway, here you go, Folsom. That's for you. I will go up on the wall after the show. But again, guys, every bit counts. And I don't like, I'm not going to sit here and beg for people to take it because then that will just be biased or whatever. But people want to see something. They want visual data to see. And this is my try at that answer. It's not perfect. They're going to get updated every month based upon the data previously, but every bit counts. Whether you're new or using or whatever, every bit counts. Yeah, that's what the post. I kind of borrowed the idea from another content creator because if no one's ever heard of what's their name? Oh shoot, podcast something. I can't remember their name, but anyway, there's another content. Dang it, I can't remember. It's with like Blabs and Craig and stuff. I still can't remember the name, but Stuttering Craig, that's right. Stuttering Craig. I just can't remember the name of the podcast at this moment. Side Scrollers, that's right. Side Scrollers podcast. Thank you, Folsom. What he does is like, because he's on multiple platforms, he like if someone got gifted or whatever, he would write it down on the post-it note and put it on his wall, mostly for the big stuff. But I've done it for because I'm not monetized on YouTube, so there's that. So that's what I kind of took the idea. And plus someone long ago had said like my wall didn't have any coloring on it. It's like, okay, so how can I kill two birds with one stone? Colored post-it notes is what I came up with. So yeah, I was like, might as well, right?
It works.
It does work. And as you can see, a lot of people have donated me over time. But yeah, so that's what those are. And I thank you all for it. And yes, I am in the creator program, but if I don't make next month, then I don't make next month. It's not that big of a deal for me. But yeah, a lot of people I follow, probably too many, so I try. Oh no, I thank you for that. Hey, if you know what, if you don't take the survey, if you take the survey, don't forget to share. That's all I ask. If you don't even do it, then just share with other people, because at the end of the day, these surveys are what's going to shine a light on what people don't get to see from Rumble. Every bit counts. So, and thank you again, Folsom, for that. Of course, again, links are down below. Any help with the engagement factor on either end is much appreciated from all of you. Tomorrow, the schedule for next week will be out. A lot of new and returning faces, so hopefully come by and see for next week. And what else? Oh, that's right. The surveys are until the 23rd of April. So you have plenty of time, but I'm still going to push them regardless. So there's that. And of course, you can tell your neighbor his car is locked. Yes, I get my windows open. So yes, I'm glad you can hear that. I was going to shut the window. I'm surprised you didn't say anything about the birds. There were birds chirping. Come on, Folsom. Where's your hearing at? Come on. But anyway, so the last thing I do with my guest at the end of the show is I have a thing called Questions from a Hat. So I have bought this hat from Rumble. I put some questions in it. So what happens is that yeah. I see you busting the gut there. So what happens is that my guest, you, get 2 freebie questions. However, if people want to have more than those 2 pulled, then you need to give a Rumble rant. I'm on YouTube, yes, but I'm not monetized, so sorry, YouTube. I've heard vehicles drive by, didn't catch the birds though. See, then they weren't loud enough. Those birds need to start singing louder. But if you're on YouTube, there's just no way I'm not monetized. But if you're on Rumble, right? If you're on Rumble, I'm already monetized. And guess what? Doesn't matter the amount you give, whether it be $1 or $500, anything you give can count to one more question. Be like, hey, Steve, count one more question. It's not the hat of doom. It's the question from my hat. It's what I'll keep calling it too. but anyway, but because of the generosity of Folsom, you get an extra question. So that means 3 total questions. So I'm gonna pull out the first question, and we'll see what we get. All right, where are we at? Where are we at? Birds. They don't have balls. Come on, Folsom. Goodness sake. All right, here's the first question. All right, let's see what it says. It says, oh, this was easy. Do you prefer coffee or tea?
I've actually have drank both, but I would probably prefer tea.
Tea? Nice. What's your flavor of choice?
Iced tea, more than likely. The
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
I see like brand.
Nice. My dad likes drinking that Arizona tea, for some odd reason. But yeah,
That's good too. I've had that before.
yeah. And they're still 99 cents, so congrats to them on that. Um, let's see. What question number 2? Let's see if I can't magically pull something out. Wonderful. Oh, here we go. Here's another one right here. And what does this say? Oh, it says, let me open it up because of the stickiness. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be with and why?
No idea.
No way.
I've never thought of anything like that.
Well, I mean, is there a historical figure you'd like to meet or something like that? And all right, understandable. Um, we'll pick a different one. Is that get the right question? Yeah, we'll pick a different one and go from there. All right, pick me. Sure, no, I'll pick you after all this. Let's see. All right, here we go. Here's another one. Oops. Here's another one. Let's see what it says. Oh, here we go. Here's an easy one. What's your favorite season and why?
Summer. No snow.
I mean, you can, yeah, that's understandable. I'd say spring, but even spring gives you snow too. I meant to have dinner with Dara. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. But birds can't have balls. The weight would cause them to loop until they crash. It's true. That's true. They're like squawk. All right. Well, this is question number 3 because I didn't count the last one. I'll switch out. Okay. What's a really good one? Come on. Heart of the questions. Let me pick out something so fantabulous. Okay, here we go. The last question, unless someone gives a rumble rap. Let's see what it says. Oh, here it is. Good one. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you at the pearly gates?
Uh, that I ain't going to hell, which I probably am.
Well, don't throw yourself off like that. Don't throw yourself off like that. Ooh, yes. Ooh. All right. Well, I mean, still dinner with our look. If someone's eating dinner with me, that's gonna be like, stuff like that. So it's not gonna work out well. But no, I understand. I understand. But don't put yourself down too hard for that. But no, that's just funny. That's actually for those who don't know. That's a question. Hey, horror stream, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Um, that's the if people don't know, there was a thing a long time ago called um, the Actors Studio with James Lipton, and he would ask them the actors or whatever was on an array of questions. That was actually one of the questions he would ask them when they were on. So he would ask the same questions every person, but that's one of the ones that he would ask, and I was like, sounds good enough for me to ask. So might as well. Possible, though, you'd have to pay for the ticket probably. That's true. That's true. It's on your dime. It's on your dime. It's on your dime. Oh my goodness. And I ain't cheap. So don't you do that. I want steak. That's what I want. I want steak. If you're gonna take me out, it's gonna be steak. And you better believe I'm going for the big cut. Or ribs. I'll go for ribs, okay? I do hear some places in the South do pretty good barbecue, so hey, you know what? All right, there's that. But anyway, guys, that that is the end of the show. Uh, how about a meetup somewhere central? If I had the money, man, I would do it. If I had the money, I would do it. I was always thinking. So before we go, for a meetup kind of thing, some people do like Las Vegas or California or some places. I always thought like steak and beer. Well, I don't do beer, but steak I'll do. It's not a date there. No, but it is a free meal if he's paying. So there's that. Um, but I always thought like you would be like, I don't know, Oklahoma or something would be like the central. I don't know what the central of the US is. Like the central of America, whatever the central area is, from whatever distance. Um, but I always thought like you could meet in like the center of America because it's easier for some people that way is to meet up in a central place. Um, but I always thought like of doing something like that. But again, it's a time thing and a money thing, and
Yeah.
at times I don't have either. But no, that would be great. One day doing a meetup is just I'm not there at a financial thing yet, so it is what it is. Because if you're like in Georgia, and I know dashboards in Arizona, and I'm in Indiana, so there's got to be like a central area to meet at for all that. But regardless, if I'm paying, I expect dinner, dessert, and you're not my type. I no, you can leave the tip at the table, but it's not going anywhere near that regard. I'm in New York. Oh, awesome. So you're a lot farther, though. You're a lot farther than the rest of us. Well, maybe probably the same distance as Arizona, but that I digress. Um, you're not my type either. So I'd say hard no at that point. Oh, it's a free meal? What? No. And could have gone there. Dara does Dallas. I've heard Dallas isn't that great of a place to visit. Dallas or Austin. Some parts of Texas are still um, not so great. Houston, I think, has been another one that's been named, but I don't know about that. Um, but yeah, I maybe one day, but it's long into the future, and I'd have to save money up for it. Plus, you have to do all the other stuff. I'm happily married usually. Well, thank goodness for that. Wasn't gonna bring it up at all. Not even part of the discussion. But thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, dinner is like, yeah, sure, whatever. San Antonio is a city. Oh, that isn't that where I believe that's where Gary of Nerdrotic is at in San Antonio. But again, I don't. I've not flown, and I think at one problem. So one problem with the flying part is that you need to have like a little special item on your driver's license in order for you to fly, which is kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is. That was the whole COVID era stuff. And the other part is that after all the news of seeing like all the Boeings and stuff fall from the sky, I'm not sure if I want to take a flight. I could drive, sure, I could drive, although I've really wanted to take a train, but Amtrak, one, is expensive if you want the good stuff, and two, takes a lot longer. That's what I hate. Love the state, hate the politics. There you go. Amen to that. But I'd rather take the train, but the train takes longer and can be more expensive depending on what you're getting, and it sucks. Like last time I looked, a roomette, which is sort of where you can get like a bed and stuff, like where you can change your chairs into a bed on Amtrak, it's a couple $100. I'm like, no, no, no. Meeting out for me? No, no, not at all. A special thing like a parachute, maybe. I'm pretty sure there are people who've used parachutes as a sleeping thing. Trains are gross. Nah, yeah, you know what? I enjoy a good. I've not been on a train in a while, but I enjoy a good train. All right. Close your mouth when the flies are flying around. All right. Don't get any close. I hope New York gets better. That's dependent on the people in New York, and I don't think people in New York want their place to get better. It's been a while though. Yeah, Amtrak is the only train I know of that goes across the whole of the United States, and there really isn't much else to choose from. And they can be expensive against when you get on, because you can get coach, business, and roomette. And yeah, there are some perks to getting roomette, but a couple $100 is not. It, yeah, it is what it is. Because flying for me is just nah. It's for when the plane fails. But I'd hope my parachute works at that point. But yeah, maybe one day. But if I'm going to do anything, I'd rather take the train. But even the train takes too long, and it is what it is. But anyway, getting off that track, and moving on to another. getting off that train track and moving to. Oh man, I shouldn't have gone for that, but no. Uh, like I said, maybe one day. No parachutes on passenger planes. Dang it! Curses! Curses! Well, no plane for me then. Yeah, but I get it. Look, I get the train stuff, but like you can sit and watch an observatory car and watch nature go by. You can. I think the snacks are kind of expensive on the train because they do sell snacks, but at the end of it all, I just wish there was a train that wasn't Amtrak that did traveling well, but didn't take too long. Like it could take you a couple hours to get across an area instead of like almost the whole day, which is what happens, depending on. And they're not always on time and all this stuff and blah blah blah. But it is what it is, regardless. But anyway, yes. Don't forget engagement factor. Like, like and comment and all that stuff with the engagement factor. Links down below. And again, where did I post them? The surveys. If you are a user of Rumble, if you're a viewer on Rumble, if you're a creator on Rumble, all I ask is just to ask if you would take them. Every bit helps. They're in the chat. All that stuff. Thank you guys for that. And who is saying something? I guess it's possible, but it might be difficult getting to the emergency exit and he out in enough time. That's true. Oh, thank you, Neuro. Thank you for that. Yes. Any help with this? Much appreciated. And again, guys, thank you all so much for being here in the chat. Thank you, Mild, for the raid. Thank you, Folsom, for the dono. I appreciate it. Engage Warp 5 Factor 5. And are you engage? What? Are you trying to say language or something? Steve, you're tired. You need to get a rest. Oh goodness! Thank you all again. Thank you all for being here, and of course, thank you, Global Gamer, for being here. I know you were I know you just you're getting over your surgery. I hope things get better. I hope it doesn't take months but weeks. So here's hoping for a quick recovery, and also know that you're always welcome back. Come back on, and hopefully we can have you on because I think the first time I tried to invite you on was for one of the Rumble Squared. So I hope I can get you on one of those times because your perspective could be helpful for that. But again, thank you for being here and all this stuff. So and thank you, Nora, for that too. But anyway, guys, as always, real-time spell checks. That needs I can see that. You need some spell checks right there. Goodness sake. Either that or you're tired. For sure you should come back. Yeah, of course. But anyway, guys, as always, I end the show. And of course, don't forget to mute your mic because it can bleed in. One Day With You by Pogo. Again, schedule for next week's coming out tomorrow. So I will see you all Monday. And remember, every bit for the surveys helps. Every bit. Whether you're a creator, whether you're a viewer, where you consider yourself both in Rumble, every bit helps. And I'll keep pushing those until the 23rd. I know it'll get annoying, but people don't take them if you don't say anything about it. So there's that. But anyway, guys, One Day With You by Pogo. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. And have a great rest of your night. Bye.